Okay, what is happening? Jay Chase. It's a gorgeous day outside today. It was in the low to mid 80s. Great day to go out for a ride, which I did. And now I will show you. I am now coming up on my 600 miles. I don't even know if you can see it. 600 miles, and it's coming up time for my first service. So I figured that now would be a good a time as any to make a video. So this is my second review. It is a 2020 Honda Ruckus. It's a 50cc. I bought it brand new, came with a warranty. They even hooked me up with some free service and stuff like that. So now that I've ridden it for 600 miles, there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Fuel. So they told me as I walked out of the dealership that I needed to use Super, and so I do. And while using Super, I'm gonna say maybe 91 to 93 octane. Coming up around my 600 miles, I will say that I've noticed a few things as it is breaking in. First, I haven't really had it pegged. I haven't had it full throttle. Break in, you know, you kind of got to go all different kinds of speeds and break it in instead of taking it out on these long tours all at once. So I've been doing that. So I think it's pretty well broken in. I have gotten it up to 45 a couple of times. I know that I did for a little while try a couple of tankfuls of Cam 2. I live in Lansing, Michigan. There are a lot of gas stations that have it. It's $8 a gallon, so it's pretty goddamn pricey, I'll tell you that. But it is 110 octane. My engine, I know, runs 11.5 to 1 compression, so I know that it had no problem burning it. Plus, it smelled really good when you burn it. So when I was using the Cam 2, I noticed that it wanted to cruise at a higher speed, whereas when I was using regular premium, I should say, the 93 octane, cruising would be easy 35 to 40. When I used the 110, I definitely would have no problem pegging the thing every time. With plenty of throttle left over, I could easily hit 45. So because it's new, I didn't. So yeah, so that's what I use for my gas. Now, as far as gear, there's a couple of things on here that I would like to change. This is a monster assembly. I wish that there was a way. I know that there's a way. I'm not going to touch it yet. There's a smaller assembly available for those. My brake light assembly. I definitely want something smaller. And the seat, well, I'd like to have the seat back a little bit. I noticed that some of you actually have like a roadster or like a cruiser style. And if I could get my seat back a little bit, I would take off this fairing right here and I would add foot pegs so I could ride it like a cruiser. You know, like kick my feet out. Yeah. So my tires are still looking new. I still got some knobbies, you know, the little nipple things on there. It's still pretty clean. It is covered when I park it. It's pretty clean on the inside. I don't even know if you guys can see in there. It's a little sunny out here. It's a little dusty, it's a little dirty. I rode it back and forth to work a couple of times. I didn't have any problems at all. Roads in Michigan suck. So I'm probably gonna see what I can do about getting maybe better suspension. I know that the single shock in the back, I mean, that's tiny. That's a tiny shock right there. And my ass is not tiny, it's quite big. So I could probably afford to use a better, more heavy duty suspension. And the front forks, the suspension on the front forks This has to be super heavy. I mean, just looking at that, it's got to be heavy. There's got to be a better design, and the shock is big, but unfortunately, it doesn't really do me a lot of good. Like, I need a better shock. Tires still look good. Still got the little nipples on there. Headlights, no problems at all with my headlights. So far, everything has worked amazingly well. It gets really, really good gas mileage. I'm going to say that I'm still pushing around 100 plus miles per gallon as I drive. The one thing that I will say that bothers me, besides that monster rear light assembly, is my mirror right here came loose a couple of times. I did tighten it up. There's like a little, this thing here, that's actually not two pieces. This is actually just one piece. It's a washer built on top of this little cup. And you basically you thread the mirror down to where there's still space to where you can adjust the cup. And that's how you basically tighten it. You use that little cup thing and you tighten it down, and it holds the mirror in place. And it has stripped a couple times, and the nut actually goes the way that the mirror spins to unloosen it. So I would say that that's a design flaw. They should have tapped the threads in a different direction, so that if there was any wind or anything like that pushing against the mirror, it would actually be tightening it instead of loosening it, if that makes sense. I've ridden for a few hours at once. I actually have a group ride coming up this Sunday, but I have ridden it for more than a few hours at a time, and I tell you, my ass is definitely taking a pounding. So one of the things that I'm going to do, other than looking into suspension, I'm probably going to be looking into a seat. See if I can get a better seat. Yeah, so I don't know, you guys. That's it. This is my second review. It's a Honda Ruckus 2020. I bought it with no miles on it. It's now breaking in. I got 586. There's 586 miles on it right now. And I'm about to go in for my 600-mile service. I figured I'd make a video just basically talking about how I like my bike. And I will say one thing. I like my bike a lot. I'm probably going to change the seat frame. Like I said, this thing is huge. Huge seat frame. Huge light assembly. I'm going to change a couple of things. But, and there's a lot of them around. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that I rode with a couple of people that actually have some modified scooters, and mine's faster. You know, I'm not putting anybody down or anything like that. So I like a stock Ruckus. I am thinking about doing some basic modifications, maybe an exhaust and an airbox delete, jet out the carb, maybe, who knows. So that's it. Thanks a lot for watching my video. That's my 2020 Honda Ruckus. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Dive, duck, dip, dive, dodge.